Greetings! It's been a hot minute, but I'm here once again with a Dark Visions video. On the JP server right now, we got the Dark Sandworm. So, the team we're going to be using is a Lightning team. We're going to be using the new Laswell and Reagan, obviously. We have Defier of Fate Lightning here. She's going to be a third rebel so that we can activate Laswell and Reagan's Overdrive abilities by turn 5. We have Season 1 Rain here. He's going to be our leader. He has a 1700 fire skill, or fire team leader skill. And he also has a 100% damage field for elite soldiers on his overdrive. We have Dark Lord here. He's going to give us a 600% LB damage buff for all soldiers. And then Season 5 Rain is going to give all the swordsmen 500% attack. And that will cover everything but the damage buff from overdrives. And for that, we have 70% from Reagan for rebels only, which is Reagan, Laswell, Lightning. Rain can cover himself at 50%, and then Lightning also gives a soldier buff at 15%, so it is a lot lower for Dark Lord and Season 5 Rain, but it's better than nothing. So, let's get right in there. Alright, turn 1, the boss is going to do 4 physical attacks. The first 2 are non-elemental, the second 2 are elemental. They are Ice, Fire, Light, and Earth. So we're going to have Reagan use the Barbliza Materia from Season 1 that gives 60% Ice Resist. Rain's our main defensive unit here. Season 1 Rain has Protect Shell plus 3, a 200% Light Resist buff, and a 90% Omni Break. Lightning doesn't act turn 1. Season 5 Rain is going to give the party a 400% stat buff. Dark Lord will use his 80% Earth buff and his 75% mitigation. And then Laswell will give us 2 stacks of Mirage for the non-elemental attacks. We're going to throw up his field, and we're going to get his blind immunity for the party. So we dodged the first 2, mostly resist the second 2. Took some damage, not enough to actually care about it. Right off the bat, we're going to guard with Lightning and Rain. They have nothing to do this turn. We're going to reapply Dark Lord's mitigations because they last 3 turns. And we're also going to do the same for Season 1 Rain. Shell Protect. Light Resist. And we're also going to use his Omni Cover this turn because the boss does a big non-elemental magic attack. Reagan's going to throw up his field, his 91% defense and spirit break, and throw away his last action. Laswell will only Mirage. So the boss doesn't do any physical attacks again until turn 4, but Laswell's Mirage lasts 3 turns, so this way we can save him some actions. And he needs them all. Alright, turn 3. Rain will throw up his 600 buff on Dark Lord. Season 5 Rain throws up his 200% all element imperil. His 600% stat buff on himself. And then just swings at the boss. Lightning will Enthundaga. Dark Lord, all he has to do right now is perfect dispel the boss. We'll do Enthundaga first. And there's our perfect dispel. Send out the rest. Reagan's gonna throw up his Bug Killer. Bug Killer W on Lightning, which will affect him and Lightning. His stat buff on Lightning, and he will Omni Cover. And then Laswell is going to use his Lightning Imperil, Bug Killer W on Rain, and his stat buff for himself. Alright, turn 4, we're setting up for burst now. So Quadcast Rain, LB, Mod, Amp, and his Omni Killer, which is 300%. Going to use that on Dark Lord, so the whole party will have 300% Bug Killer. Lightning will Amp, Mod, or LB, Amp, whatever, you know what I mean. 200%, that ain't right. Okay, so LB, Mod, and Amp on Rain. Her Amp is only 200%, but it's okay for Rain because he is dual element anyways here. We're gonna LB, Mod, and Amp on Lightning on Reagan. LB, Mod, Amp. LB, Mod, Amp, and Season 5 Rain will Amp Dark Lord. Dark Lord will LB, Mod, and Weapon Imperil. And we still have those 2 stacks of Mirage from Laswell on turn 2. So, yep, minimum damage taken. Alright, now for Overdrives, we're going to use Lightning. The order here doesn't matter, except that Rain wants to go last. So Lightning Soldier buff for Dark Lord and Season 5 Rain. Reagan's Rebel damage buff for the Rebels. Season 5 Rain Swordmaster buff. Dark Lord's Elite Soldier buff. And Rain's 1000% self buff. We already used Laswell's 1000% self buff. And his Elite Soldier Field. Everyone here is just going to LB. We're going to use the Lightning LB on Laswell. Doesn't matter which LB we use on Reagan. And it doesn't matter which LB we use on Rain, because all we have for Imperils is that 200% all element from Season 5 Rain. And the way we're going to chain this, we're going to send out Dark Lord first. He's slow and he's a capper. All cappers are 5 hits on JP now. They learned their lesson with the 1-hitters. We're going to send out Rain, and he's going to solo build the chain. There's 3 reasons for that. The first is that his damage isn't very good because he is off element here. The second is that because he is off element, he's going to actually build the chain faster because he gets twice the elemental chain bonus. And the third is because his hit modifiers are extremely good for self-chaining. Most units, like all these absolute mirror units, you know, the bottom 4 I have here, they are all 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And then the last 3 hits are 12%, 12%, 13%. You know, and bolting strikes, for the most part, the same, where it's going to be mostly 2%, 3%. Rain's first 20 hits or something are 1% each, so he's definitely built to be a great tag chainer, which isn't something that I was really expecting from a JP tag unit, but they have learned their lesson over time, and this unit is fantastic. Anyways, yep, so we're going to send out Dark Lord, then we're going to solo build the chain with Rain, and everyone else is Absolute Mirror, so we're just going to send them in pairs of 2s. Let's see what we get. Our average here is 75.2 billion. That looked pretty good. Hot diggity. It's not an absolutely fucking cracked roll, but I am very early in my rolling process, so it's the best I got yet. Let's see how everyone did. Rain, he goes from 5.7 to 9.2, so Season 1 Rain is below average, not by a lot. Lightning goes from 10.3 to 17.3, so she is, you know, a little bit above average. Reagan goes from 10.7 to 18.9, so again, a little bit above average. Dark Lord, Dark Lord's like at his minimum. He's 6.8 to 11.0, so very close to the bottom there. Season 5 Rain is 7.2 to 11.6, so he is below average. And then Laswell just carried this entire run. He goes from 15 to 25.9, so he's He's pushing up close to his limit there. And that brings us up to second place. Neat. How far is that off? 447, 872 minus 449. 5521. Yes, that's 1.4 billion off from rank 1. I'm sure I'll get there. I will beat that score, but I'd be surprised if he also didn't beat that score if he was rolling. Anyways, as far as the team goes, Espers, we have Garuda on Rain for some Bug Killer, Golem on Laswell for the Overkiller, Bahamut on Lightning for some Killer, Bismarck on Veritas of the Dark. Veritas of the Dark is the hardest unit to gear here. He has no init Bug Killer. We do have the P skill, the party skill, gives 50% Bug Killer, unlocked from the Season 2 event. This is a new thing in JP if you haven't really followed since the death of Global. But everyone's going to be using bows here. The hyperinflation of attack values is actually fucking insane right now. So the lowest unit on this team is 43,000. The highest is Laswell at over 53,000. So at attack values like that, you know, the highest damage thing you can do is raising your average variance. And bows have that 1.35 to 1.85 instead of swords, which have 1.25 to 1.75. And, you know, that if you have a bow in peril, you use bows on everyone. Everyone who isn't using the Dark Vision's Great Sword, which is a new thing. If you know you were a global player, the most, or let me start over. The Dark Vision's Great Sword they released has an average variance of 1.75. It goes 1.5 to 2, which is absolutely cracked. I don't even know why they would do that on a single item ever, but yeah, it's insane, and I wish I had the dark matter for it, but I don't, and that's probably the single biggest thing holding this account back. Nothing else for dark matter matters too much right now. Water Rain Vision card, his own TMR. Furion's Bow is going to give him +4. Furion's Bow +4 gives him 100% TDH. Everyone's going to be using Dark Lord's STMR. This gives 50% TDH, TDW, and Death Immunity. So Death Immunity is a big deal for this fight. If you don't have everyone geared for it, you either play RNG or you have to use the Death Immunity party skill. I'd rather use the Killer skill. He's got some Chain Cap. He's got 2 copies of Medine Synergy from Medine Tyvis. That gives him another 200% chain speed. Because he is solo chaining, that's a pretty big deal. Then we have the new Lightning, the Fire of Fate Lightning. She's going to be using Wondrous Flash's Lightning Vision card, because she is a rebel. Besides that, just some stats. We're using Trey's bow, the Chiron bow, just because it is the highest attack bow, other than Dark Visions, the Dark Perseus, which is 405, or the Dark Gandiva, which is 235. Obviously, if I had the Dark Apocalypse, it would go on Lightning, because she is my highest damage true double hand unit. But we don't, so this is where we're at. Esper stats, Chain Cap, true double hand. That's it. Reagan's going to be using Excalibur. Excalibur is, of course, the event weapon. They actually have this and the Curl Whip rerun right now, which is definitely not an accident, considering they're now pushing a true dual wield meta. But we got the Excalibur. We're using Starlight or Eternal Radiance Alina's STMR sword, just because that's the highest attack weapon I could find. I would have liked to use Berserker Riku's STMR, which has the 300 attack, but unfortunately I have not been able to pull her, and she's actually not even on most banners anymore because of the limited pool, so we'll see if I ever get one, but I doubt it. His own STMR chest gives him 100% true dual wield and 500 flats. And then he's going to be using Eternal Radiance Alina's TMR, which gives him 50 LB and 100% true dual wield. We're using that because we have him on Ramses' Vision card, which only gives 50% LB, but it does have 650 stats. He needs one source of Bug Killer. We're giving him some Esper stats, and like everyone else, he has the EX ability for Bug Overkiller. Dark Lord has Sheridan's STMR, which gives 100% Bug Killer, and then 2 copies of Arden's STMR, which is a lot of attack and some Bug Killer. And then obviously equip bow. He's using Rosa's bow, reason being I ran out of trays. If I had another tray, he'd be using another tray bow, but I don't, so it's only 8 attack difference, not huge. We got Crimson Knight Rain's STMR for the chest. This is going to give him the true double hand to cap off his build, and then we have the Earth Gotcha Vision card on him. Season 5 Rain has a Noctis Vision card, Trey's bow, his TMR for 500 flats. He's got true double hand, Bug Killer, Chain Cap, nothing weird. And then Laswell has the Curl Whip, Eternal Radiance Alina's STMR again. I would have liked to have used the 298 Dark Visions one-hand katana, but again, that's Dark Matter. I will probably never spend that Dark Matter on that katana unless they upgrade it again. His own TMR gives him 50 Bug Killer, which will cap him out. Obviously 500 flats, so we're definitely going to use that. And then we have 2 copies of Eternal Radiance Alina's TMR to give him 100% LB, because he is going to be using Water Rain's Vision card, which will give him 1000 flats, but will give him 0 LB damage, so he needs 100% LB damage to round him out. One thing that's really jarring to me is the absolute lack of power creep on Vision cards. If you were a global player and, you pulled on those Ject and Uno banners, that's it. That's where the power creep stopped and reversed. There have only been 170 attack magic cards for collab units and the Season 5 units, and they've all been 500 static. So it's almost weird. It's really weird to me how they have just completely reversed the power creep. Not stopped it, not stalled it, reversed it. There is negative power creep on Vision cards right now. But that's a rant for another day. Anyways, that's my team, that's my strat. Good luck.